Season 5 of Your Mates, Lovoni and Sarah podcast starts today. We're back after a month off and we're eager to share new and informative episodes this season. So welcome to our podcast where we offer a holistic approach to weight loss, health and well-being. We encourage each other and hopefully others listening to transform, become stronger and squeeze a bit more juice out of life. And we share our stories so you know you're not alone. I'm Lovoni.
And I'm Sarah, and welcome to episode 66, Setting Goals. Goals, do they drive you or loom heavily over you? How much do goals help when it pertains to weight loss or anything really that you want to achieve? Join us as we dig into the science and mindset of goals. Are they a help or a hindrance? So stay tuned to find out. But before we kick off this new season, we have to have a catch up. It's been a whole month, Lovoni.
I know.
Go on then. So I think we've got so much to catch up on, but what have you how have we been doing with our last challenge, which was, to remind everybody, was journaling? And just in general, how have you been since we've last spoken recorded?
I felt like, well, I have been journaling and almost daily.
Oh, well done.
I think you said something and I can't remember exactly how you said it. Sarah's very wise. And it was something to do with you're not like necessarily committed to doing it every day, but that you had been.
Yeah.
But I have a morning routine now that's a bit more elaborate than it used to be.
Yes.
But journaling is one of the things. So it just
Right.
means getting up, getting it done. But, you know, I was like toast after, before we took a break, just from just being slammed with work, which is fine. I love working. I love being busy. But physically, because my back is just shot.
Yeah, it's really
and
bad.
I just was like, oh gosh, I'm taking a month off. But I mean, it's not like I've done nothing. I think
No, but just a little
I've been so
routine.
busy doing things and just trying to establish more of a routine that's setting me on a better trajectory, which is, good. It'll all come into, today's topic, which is setting goals. What about you? How's journaling working out for you and how have you been?
Journaling is good. I am doing it still on the not having to do it every day. I do mine at night time, which is the complete polar opposite to you.
Right.
But I'm someone that has constantly got noise in their head with regards to thoughts and even memories. Even I'm shocking myself that some memories from like 25 years ago keep popping into my head. I'm like, it's just really odd. Anyway, I use the nighttime to collect those thoughts and I kind of, the ones that have been on continual repeat, I try to capture them. So I'm like, they're obviously meaning something for me right now. So I get that down. It's also really good to refer back to it occasionally. Something like, what was I think? I do this
What
thing.
was I thinking?
I know.
Not like that.
I don't know if anyone else does this, but my partner just says, you are absolutely nuts. I'm like, oh, I was really worrying about something and now I've forgotten what it was that I was worrying about. I must get it back. He's like, well, surely that's a good thing if you're now not worrying about it. I'm like, no. It was something that I was worrying about and now I can't remember what it was that I was worrying about.
That's
anyway.
Good. Yeah.
I don't know, because then it worries me that I can't remember it anymore.
Oh,
so
bloody hell.
So what I do, I know, I am nuts. So then I go back to my book and go, oh, that was it. But it's okay because I've then got a resolution. So
now I can stop worrying about
it again. That I've got it.
Yeah.
But what I have done over the last few sessions, I've been writing things down. I've been talking to myself about the way that I've been feeling. I've then tried to identify some of the reasons why I've been feeling that.
Right.
And then on the other side of the page, I've just put some ideas without them being strict, which does link in a minute to what we're going to talk about, of ways I could resolve those things that I know that are not making me feel good. So I can give you a real life example. I'm like, you know what? So my son is away at the moment. Lovoni and I have been talking
about. He's in Australia.
He's in Australia.
He's in my homeland.
And so I have a very different feeling house at the moment. It feels very quiet. And there have been a couple of times I'm like, you know what? I think I feel a bit lonely. It's always be careful what you wish for, isn't it? There's me normally going, he's so annoying, and he's not really. I love him to bits.
I bet you've saved some money on food.
Yes, there's definitely been that.
Henry's a big growing boy.
He eats well, and also the washing machine thinks that it's broken because it's not on 3 times a day.
Right.
So next to the statement of saying I was feeling a bit lonely, so I had a statement for like, I'm not feeling, there's something I'm not feeling that's right. I can't, and then I then one of the things I listed was, I think I feel a bit lonely at times, not all the time. So the resolve I put next to that was like, put the radio on. And actually, it literally transforms. I know it's a
Mhm.
really silly little thing, but it's really
No.
transformed it, because the house doesn't feel empty, it doesn't feel quiet. So things like that are the sort of things I've been journaling, as well as the bigger picture, deeper things, but just to give people a bit of a flavour of some of the things that they can do. But also, with a month off, what have I've lost £6, Lovoni.
Oh God, well done you.
That's all right, isn't it? That's a good
Yeah.
start.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
good start. Um, and there's some things that I still want to work on, which we can talk about goals as well, as we get into it. But yeah, I've lost £6, and I've sort of changed the way that I've been approaching food a little bit, and the way that I've been approaching my day, and not been as strict. Actually, I haven't been as
Hmm.
strict with like having to have a strict routine, but we can get into that. But how about you? How's your sort of food and mental approach to all been in the month?
You know, it's been a bit like a sock in a washing machine, I have to say.
Right.
You know, definitely been doing a bit of the roller coaster,
Mm-hmm.
but I just had this feeling come over me last week where it's just, you know, when you just feel like you're on the precipice,
Uh-huh.
not of, I won't say it, but if memory serves me, but you know, or just rounding a corner, you know, when you just
Yes.
you feel
You're
like
ready.
it,
Mm-hmm.
it's yeah, that the cogs are all starting to fit
Mm-hmm.
together. That's kind of how I felt. And then suddenly it wasn't something that I was thinking about every fucking second of the
Mm-hmm.
day. And it just happened. And I remember the other day I was outside pottering about doing things in my mushroom
Yes.
cottage, my greenhouse that I got, thinking I hadn't eaten. And I suddenly thought, "Oh, I'm hungry," but I kept on doing what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if I was inside sitting at my
Mm-hmm.
desk, I'd probably
Go
have
and get it.
snacks.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just the thought of, "Oh, I'm hungry, so, you know, I
Yeah.
don't actually have to eat. I do have enough in reserve. I'm
Mm-hmm.
good." Um, I don't know, so it was just a slightly different mindset, but
Yeah.
I feel like something shifted for the
Mm-hmm.
good.
Well, that's
And
why at the end of the last season, so 4 weeks ago, we talked about that roller coaster was one of our,
right.
episodes. But I was really, right at that low point, and I said then
Mhm.
too, I could start to feel a shift. But part of that was the investment in myself. So we talked about the fact that right, I need to get my face products sorted. I need to do this. I need to do that. I'm getting
Right.
some
Just
self-care
little
things booked
increments.
in, and all it takes, folks, literally all it takes is just starting one little
One
thing.
thing. Mhm.
One
Yeah.
thing, and then all it took was me going, right, I'm going to order my face products that I haven't had for however many months, because I didn't want to spend the money, and blah 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 blah. I did it. Then the next thing I'm like, oh, I think I might do this, and the next thing I might do this, and I haven't bought more clothes, I haven't done this, that, and the other, but it's all started to add up, and it's just
Mhm.
push that snowball ever so slightly, and now
Right.
in a positive way,
Gains
which is the
momentum.
same. Yeah. And I talked, really openly about my binge eating, and I was feeling really not well
Mhm.
at all. And that was my first goal, which we can lead into now. But was my first goal was just level out this
Mm.
up and down, level out this roller coaster. The binging was really, really extreme. Let's just try and cut this back, so you're doing that less, is my first
Right.
goal. And then it was a case of, now can we try and stop it all together? And if you have a little episode, okay, let's go straight back onto not doing that again. So
Mhm.
that's what I've managed to achieve. So my first goal was that. My next goal was like, now let's really have a look at your relationship with food, Sarah. So all of the things that we've learned, we've got all of that information. So that was, yeah, that's how I've kind of navigated my 4 weeks. But I do feel like an extreme compared to what I felt for 4 months and previously, because obviously it happened for quite some time, and it had been over
Right.
a few months. So
Were you
it,
journaling about it too? Because I found that helped a lot.
yeah.
I would just write, and it might start off like fucking, fucking, fucking,
Yeah.
almost like that. You know, that's how it felt. And then I just bleh, get it out.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, and then almost on the other page, you'd have okay, well, what can I do
How am I going to do
differently?
about this?
Or what were 3 things that I did yesterday or I will do today that would make a difference, or that I'm pleased about, or that I'm proud of, or whatever. So reminding myself that not everything that I do is shit,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think journaling has helped a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Some
That's
days it might
brilliant.
be 3 pages, other days it might be 3/4 of a page.
Mm-hmm.
It just happens, and I
When I'm
just
doing
let
it,
it tumble
I
out.
had your words reminding myself this doesn't have to be neat, this doesn't have to be perfect, it's just getting
Right.
it out, because
Just
that's the
get
other
it
thing potentially
out.
before, particularly because I'm quite tired when I go to bed. I'm like, oh, do I want? I'm like, yep, just quickly put it next to my bed, pick it up, get it out, and then I can sleep well.
Right.
So yeah, it really does make a difference.
I think it's helped me a lot.
Mm.
Um, which is a good segue into goals,
Mm.
because I've got them down in my journal, but I'll more about that.
Okay.
So firstly, what is a goal? A goal is any desired outcome that wouldn't have happened without you doing something.
Mm-hmm.
When goals are formed by the things you've struggled with, so for example, weight, those goals take on a richness of meaning. So it's having a goal with purpose.
Okay.
And the interesting thing, doing the research, I've listened to many podcasts
Mm-hmm.
about this, and a couple in particular that Mel Robbins did. And one is a doctor from Harvard that neuroscience studies that they've done. I never knew this was a thing, on goals and what it
Mm-hmm.
can do for your brain, how it can help. Um, so when you hear of neuroscience, you may not think of goals. I certainly didn't until I started digging into it. But goals make you happy, and they can suppress negative emotions, and they do matter.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure you've got something to say. I've got lots to say about this.
I have, and I I've got a differing opinion on this, and I think this has
Uh-huh.
changed
I knew you would.
as I've aged, obviously, because I'm difficult. No, because it has changed as I've aged, and I was very, very goal focused when I was younger. Maybe even 10 years ago, it was like it was single-minded. Now, and we've spoken about this just in our own sort of chats, but sometimes I find them overwhelming, and I find
Mm-hmm.
them that it does the opposite, the negative effect, because I just feel that they're too big, they're pressuring me, they are almost a negative comparison. It's like, well, that's my goal and I'm nowhere near it, that's my goal, I'm not working to it, that's my goal and you've given up, all of this negative that comes on the other side of the positive.
Mm-hmm.
um but I think what I've done is change my way that I approach my goals. But I too have, listened to sort of a lot of podcasts and done the research. And it's interesting that the positive effect that even having a goal has on
Mm-hmm.
your life. So actually, it's not about achieving the goal necessarily, it's about having one. And that is,
Making them.
yeah, and that is what gives you life, because actually
Yep.
what do? We just
It
coast
gives you
through.
purpose.
It does. And,
Yeah.
when we're feeling low, I bet if we all had a look from the outside in, looking at ourselves, we wouldn't really have a goal at that time. We all just think, oh, I whatever, fuck it. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not aiming to do anything new. When you're low, you don't have the energy and the drive to do it. But this, even if I guess, if I look back, me saying, well, my having a goal of, right, let's get my face care, my skincare sorted out. You know what? I set it, I did it, it was really small. I've achieved it, which there's a real,
Yep. Bolster.
bolster of achieving
Mm-hmm.
something. And then what happens? I'm going to set the next one. And it doesn't have to always be loftier or harder or bigger. It can
Mm-mm.
just be just another one, and I think
Right.
we can slip into that mindset of it being that has to be bigger each time, doesn't it? And it doesn't have to be like that.
Nope.
Do you think that?
Mm-mm. Yeah. But like you were saying, how without a goal, you are just basically drifting
Drifting.
through space. It gives your life purpose, it gives it direction, it boosts your motivation, can do all those things, and self-confidence. And but to do it, there's I think what you were saying, listening to what you were saying about goals, because I've done the same thing. I'm going away in September. I want to lose 50
Oh,
pounds.
it
And that
just
was
never
and with
happens.
but with no No, you need to have a how and you need to have a
Strategy.
why.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the will and the way, right? And to do it, and I'm sure people think, oh, okay, there's like rules for setting goals. But if you do it right, you can actually achieve them. Or you might find as you're going along that they change somewhat too. So you
I'm going
have
to
to be a
put
bit
a
flexible.
little asterisk in there. Do
Okay,
it
radio.
right, but do it right for you,
Oh,
because
no, exactly.
I think
Yeah.
that, everyone's right is different, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
That's the thing. And that's what
It's like
I've done
food.
before, is thinking, oh, it's got to be how there's a strict
It's got to
routine of
be
how it's going.
this. Yeah.
No. And even say within myself, that's changed within the last 10 years. How I approach those things has definitely
Right.
changed. So
They have to be specific though. That is something. I think a goal
yes, I think if
needs to
it's
be
woolly, it doesn't work, does it?
specific and
No.
definable, because
Hmm.
without those two things, it's just a dream, really, isn't it?
It's a
And it
wish,
has
isn't
to
it?
have a timeline.
It's a
Believe
wish
it or
otherwise.
not,
Hmm.
that's what that's that's what studies have shown. You can't just say I want to lose weight.
Oh,
Well, yeah, anybody
really?
can say that.
You see, that's what
You
I
have
find the
to,
pressure with. If I've then got that timeline, I'm like,
but then you work backwards. It's like publishing. Then you
yeah.
work backwards and
You
you
see, this is the
refine
thing.
it.
Within my own work, of course, I have a deadline, and within my own, all of this, I'm fine with all of that, and I work well to
Right.
that. But it's just when it comes to myself, I feel a
It
lot of
shouldn't be any
pressure.
different then.
Maybe because I'm scared I'm going to let myself down. Maybe deep down, I
Right,
wonder whether
right.
I'm really going to actually do this. And so then I'm setting myself up for
Which you
failure.
wouldn't with your work. I mean,
Never.
you'd never,
No,
with a client or whatever, you'd never
no,
do that.
no.
So it's almost like it is, it's committing to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the most important thing. It's more important than anything. And this
Mm-hmm.
is what I'm learning. I'm sick of letting myself down, because when you let yourself down, we've talked about this in other episodes, it can ebb away at your self-confidence,
We
I
just
think.
set the tone for always being that
And you
way.
just
Yeah.
think, oh, yeah, this is how I'm always going to be. I'm always going to let myself down. So I think that's a shift that I'm having too. And my goals is specific, but I've broken it down into increments. So it might
That's what
sound
I've done.
lofty, but breaking it down and giving myself a timeline, the how, but more importantly too, is the why, is why I want to do this. And I want to keep coming back to the why too, because I think people just think, oh, well, I just want to lose weight, or I want to own a boat or whatever,
Mm.
but it's the why that is so
Mm-hmm.
important. I mean, yeah, the how's important too, of course. But so that's, like I said, that's the will and the way. They're the two things that you need to get
I
lined
agree. I
up.
mean, I think I need to
Both use different parts of your brain. Sorry to
do that.
interrupt. Yeah. So the why is the prefrontal cortex,
Mm-hmm.
and the way is the how, which is the way, is the dopamine reward system.
Okay.
I
So
think
one's
I've got
like
that right.
almost like a motive, and the other one is kind of logical, like the emotives to
And I
against the
think
logical.
one, like you said, you're looking forward to something, or it's giving you purpose, and that
Mm-hmm.
also, I think, probably does trigger
Mm-hmm.
the dopamine.
I mean,
But
I'm the same. I have found that I need a clear plan, because I was thinking about this with my journaling and just in general. I was thinking, you know what, each of this stages for me, so the fact that I leveled it out with regards to my binging, and then just tried to reduce that a little, and then all of that sort of thing. I'm like, okay, that's great. But if I really, really want to get to my goal, and I can talk about my goal in a minute, like perhaps we'll both share our goals in a minute,
mhm,
I'm actually going to have an action plan for this, because it's not
mhm.
going to happen by mistake.
No.
However, I'm not prepared. I'm honest with myself. I know myself well enough. I'm not prepared to be so strict that I feel that it's all by be all and end all, because I know me
Right.
now, and I won't do it, because I'll be like, I'm
Yeah.
not doing it.
Dig your heels
So
in.
yeah, so that's how I've approached my goal that I've set for myself. And
Right.
so what's yours? What's your goal, Lovoni, or goals?
Oh gosh, really? Let me scroll down to the
You're like
further
that.
down, because I also want to talk about why goals don't work, right?
Right.
And also, if you wanted to set a goal, the best time to do it is right now. is to commit right now. So if you're listening to this, don't think, oh, well, I'll set my goal tomorrow. No, you need to do it right now. And then break them down into smaller ones. Okay, so I have I didn't write it down. I did write it in my journal. So, and I've written it like really, I have to grab it. So I'm going away in September.
Hang on a minute. Can we just talk about how gorgeous that journal is?
Isn't it beautiful?
Wow.
All my little witchy poo
You
thoughts
fancy
going down
pants.
in there. Yeah. So I'm going away in September, and I already have lost some weight, but by the time I go, I want to add to it. And 50 pounds. Now that sounds like a lot.
It does sound like a lot.
But I've looked at why I want to do it and the how I'm going to do it. Let me pop on the glasses. And so I've broken it down into months, and then those months down into weeks, and worked out how many pounds I need to lose, how many calories, and how many calories I need to cut my food down. Then I've worked out what type of things I'm going to eat. And I haven't put all the recipes in between now and then, but the things I'm going to eat, some ideas I play around with, because I often think it's easier if I can just have like a couple of breakfast choices, a couple of lunch choices, you know what I mean, rather than having to reinvent the wheel all the time.
Like the little book that we talked about that time, the little recipe book type thing.
Right, yeah. So I've broken it all down like that. It's not just I'm going to lose 50 pounds. It's like, this is how I'm going to do it. Month, weeks, and then days, literally.
Okay.
And so, yeah, stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons, or there's like 5 that I have got down, key mistakes people make when they're making a goal, is they focus on the how and forget the why. Okay. So maybe they focus on the how they're going to do it, but the why is really important. And that's why I've written it down, and I'm going to keep coming back to it. Why? It will help my poor back that I'm paying a lot of money to have treatment on right now. Feel better about myself. And it's also part of my business plan. That's for another podcast. Look healthy, and fit into my clothes, because I'm not buying any more clothes. Like there's so many things. I want to, go away and just feel comfortable and feel good and feel strong. I don't have any notions of being skinny or whatever. I have more than 50 pounds to lose, but it will put me to a point where I think that will help my back incredibly.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So people forget the why. So I've got that written down. I'm going to keep coming back to it. There's about 12 things in that list of my why. And then I think one of the things people do too, especially at the beginning of the year, is they set too many goals. I'm going to give up smoking. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to go to the gym 7 days a week, things like that they do. So apparently when you set a goal, it's good to set 1 to 3 goals. But if you're going through some major changes in your life, like a divorce or bankruptcy or whatever, it's good to just set a goal. And then when you define a goal, there's a sweet spot, apparently. This is all studies. So this is where I'm coming at that. But I can understand it. So a goal can't be too easy or too hard. And it has to be between easy and hard, like a Goldilocks thing. And that's what I'm keeping to remind myself of, is that, am I hitting the Goldilocks? Because I am like quite the Goldilocks.
It's got to be just
with
so.
a lot of things. It's got to be just right.
Yeah.
Even my sheets when I get into bed.
Yeah.
It needs to have ambition for you to do it. And if you go too high, then you'll say to yourself, well, I'm not going to do that. And if you go too low, then, either you do it and then it's done and you don't feel anything, or it's not enough. It's not enough for you to achieve and your dream. If you have a dream, it doesn't even have to be a dream. You have to adjust it to make it just right. So you feel a bit uncomfortable with it. Apparently that's the thing, whether it's fear or it's pushing you out of
Or
your comfort
effort.
zone
Yeah.
to put in the effort. Yeah. And the
Yeah.
discipline, because it's not just going to happen. With this, there has to come discipline, and you can't make it too general. Like, I'm going to lose weight is very general.
Okay.
And that's what people say at the beginning of the year. Oh yeah, I'm going to lose weight this year. And that's that. You have to be specific. Like I said, the how and the why. And then number 5 is is to have a range. So instead of saying 50 pounds, what I should do is say I'm going to lose between 40 to 50 pounds before I go
Yeah, because if
away.
you don't hit
It's
bang
good
on
to have a
50, you feel like you
range.
failed, whereas you wouldn't have done if
Yeah.
you'd lost 48 or whatever. Yeah.
It's like working out. Instead of saying I'm going to work out 5 days a week, say I'm going to work out, say 3 to 5 days a week. Or if you want to do 5 days, say 4 to 6 days a week. And if you hit 5, that's good. But it's good to have a range, apparently,
Okay.
with your goal within them. Yeah. So
I've done all
they're
right
5
within my
mistakes
goal
people
then.
make. Yeah, you have?
So, because I hadn't known that the 5 steps there, but my first goal, so a bit like it said there, not to have too many at once, I've just set myself 1 at the moment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that is to get fitter. So that's
Yeah.
my goal. But what I've then done is broken that down into some smaller steps. And my actual goal, my first goal is 3 times a week now, I have to park at the bottom of the town where I live and walk up 67, because I've counted them, everybody, 67 very steep steps. The first time I did it, I genuinely thought I was going to be sick. And I was also carrying my bag, which had a litre of water in it as well. I was like, oh,
Is
that's
it
amazing. How much?
999 over there?
Yeah, it was nearly
999,
one of those moments. Yeah. So, but I've been doing it 3 times a week, and I suddenly thought the other day, do you know? Now, don't get me wrong, I still look like I need
I
oxygen
don't
when I
need an
get to the top.
aspirator when I get to the
But when
top.
I did it the other day, I didn't have to stop, because normally I've had to stop halfway,
Right.
catch my breath, and then keep
Okay.
going. This time I got all the way to the top.
Oh, well done.
I was like this as I got there. I was like, oh God.
But you did it though.
I did it. So my first goal is, do you know what? I want to get up those steps without looking and feeling like that. So that's my
Right.
goal. So I want to get fitter. My first goal is that. And then with that whole, as you said, so how am I going to do that? I'm going to, because I've not been doing very well at all my dedicated exercise. I've been very active. I've been doing probably a minimum of 10,000 steps a day, but I want to do the dedicated. So I'm going to do 3 times a week. I'm going to do 30 minutes of cardio, whether that's cycling, running, whatever it might be. And I want to do 2 weight sessions a week.
Good.
So
Glad you're
what
including
I'm
those.
not doing is I'm not making a set routine of schedule going on a Monday. I'm going to do this, which I did do at the beginning of the year. I set up all of that in my journal. If you remember, I set it all up in my, laid it all out.
So pretty.
As soon as I missed one, then I'm like, oh, I'm on the catch up, Yeah.
Right.
So I've recognized that overwhelm in myself. So I'm not setting that, but what I am saying is to help me get to that point of getting at those steps better, which in turn will then help me to I'm going to get fitter. I'm going to do that. So 3 sessions of cardio of 30 minutes a week and 2 weight sessions. I can combine those if I want to, like when I'm there. So that's my first goal. It's not going to say that I'm not going to add something new to it, but I'm really, really going to focus on that at the moment. There's going to be other things that fit into that. So the way that I'm eating is going to be helping that, because if I can lose some weight, I'm going to get up those stairs a lot easier and those steps a lot easier and all that sort of stuff. But that's not part of this overall what I'm going to do goal, if that makes sense, just because for me I find it too much. So yeah, that's
overwhelm.
That's my
first
one.
I think a lot of people have that. That's what it's good just to have a couple of things to focus on.
Yeah,
that's really what I've been doing, and I can focus on this because my exercise is pretty good, and I've been trying to. So I have my what I do in the morning and work out, but I've just been trying to add stuff to it, like walk around in the pool and swim, and then play tetherball out in the backyard while I'm waiting for Ramsey to dilly-dally when I let him out just little things,
Just adding it
getting
in.
more steps in just to add, because really, that's what burns the calories, are
Yeah, the
those
movement.
things.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, but mine is more focused on my food
Okay.
because, yeah.
I tell you the other
Um,
thing that helps me is I do a little mini vision board when I set myself a little goal like this.
oh, yeah.
Just like a little, I don't know, postcard size of just putting a
Yeah.
few things
Yeah.
on, all of the things that's going to help me do that little mini goal. So it's not a great big lofty,
Mm,
this is what my whole year looks like, which is still great because I really believe in those. But yeah, just a little something I can stick on the side of my computer screen, a really visual reminder, a cue, a
nice.
prompt for going, that's what I'm doing. But I think all of this, we need to approach it with excitement, don't we, rather than dread.
Yeah, I'm super excited,
Yeah.
especially writing it down like that. Because
Hmm.
just if I was just to do, the 50 pounds,
Yeah.
I'd be like, fuck,
How am I going to
that
do that?
seems so.
Yeah.
But when I broke it down, I thought, you know what?
Achievable.
This is actually achievable. When I see it like that, it made a
Hmm.
really big difference, which then changed my mindset. It
And
just kind of
that's the
flicked a switch.
thing. All of this gives hope, doesn't it? And I think just
Yes.
in general, having these goals, it gives you hope in life. It gives you something
Mhm.
to look forward to. We should be enjoying it. They get the buzz of achievement as you start to hit those little mini
Right.
targets. So I think people need to remember that. Don't approach this with dread because you're likely to not want to keep it going. And if you're
Right.
going to
Oh,
approach it that
no,
way.
with excitement. And that's
Yeah.
why I think going back to it all the time and rereading, which I will do,
Hmm.
will keep my enthusiasm
Can I just
up.
make one point which I think is quite important to me? Because I think
Mhm.
sometimes that the overwhelm with the goal, and I wrote this down to make sure that I remember to say it, is that I think we also, yes, it's hope and it is this real contentment when we achieve them, but a goal doesn't mean that we can't be content along the way as well. So it's not
Right.
this whole I'm going to be happy when I've achieved that. It
Mhm.
doesn't mean
Mhm.
that you have to be disappointed with your current situation just because you've set yourself a goal. The goal is to enhance your life, enhance what you've got now. You are still permitted to enjoy your life as it is, and then setting these goals and these targets are just giving it a little extra, because then you feel like you're going to enjoy it even more than you are now. I think
Mhm.
that's really important because otherwise it can really affect your mindset of thinking, oh, well, the way I look, the way how unfit I am, because I get to the top of those steps and give myself a really hard time, like, really, Sarah, for the love of God, you should be not feeling
Mhm.
like this. And it's really hard not to judge yourself
As
because
opposed to, hey, you did
hey,
it. You got
2
up
months
there.
ago, I couldn't get up these steps
Right.
and I had to
Right.
stop twice, and honestly, it was burning, and now, yes, I still look a hot mess and I'm breathing hard, but I've done all of that in one go. So,
Right.
and
And that's gonna be really, because you'll really see that,
mm,
like, that will make,
so
I
each
mean,
time I'm just going to keep
another
pushing,
month
pushing,
from now to
pushing.
be
Exactly.
easier.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that's important to remember. Don't use it as a tool to beat yourself up about where you are now. Use it
Mhm.
as a tool to enhance what you've got, and you still are permitted to enjoy how you are now.
Right. And then on the other side of that is, if anybody's just feeling just down,
Hmm.
you know, with their lot in life, make a goal. Just
Hmm.
make a goal. If you have a dream, it doesn't matter how big it is, take that dream and break it into, like, what is one thing that you can do, however big or small?
Yeah.
It's better if it's smaller. What is one thing you can do today towards
To
making
move
that dream a
towards it.
reality,
Just keep
to move
moving
towards
towards
it?
it. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're feeling useless or you feel like life's pointless, and I mean, we all get like that sometimes, right?
Hmm.
Do that. And it's amazing how much it will make you feel better.
Yes.
Will do.
So should
Okay.
we set a challenge for this week then? A
For
goal
this,
setting
yes.
challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's set the challenge of decide on one goal, make a plan, write it down, how you're going to achieve the goal, what resources you might need, and what steps you're going to take, and the reasons why you want to achieve your particular goal. But write it down and remember to keep it simple. So what I'm going to do for my challenge this week is I'm going to take that goal that I've already talked about. I'm actually going to make a little vision card for myself, a little vision board, so that I've got that visual cue for myself, and get really specific about some extra targets of things I'm going to do. So that's how I'm going to approach my goal this
Mm-hmm.
week. If you got some things you can do within that goal?
Yeah, so within my goal, I'm going to work it, a week of
Yeah.
working it, because this is new, me breaking it all down
Yeah.
like that and doing that. So I'm going to work at it every
Okay.
day this week.
Mhm.
I was also going to say, if people are on Pinterest, that's also a good place
Yes,
to
another way of
do a
doing a
little
vision
vision
board.
board.
Yeah. Mhm.
And you can make it secret as well. Next week's episode is about too much. If, like us, you're working on yourself and feeling overwhelmed with too much advice, too much fear, too much choice, too much food, too much information, too much to do, too much to think about, too expensive, too much time.
Too
Oh,
much,
we're
too much, too
channeling
much.
Goldilocks. Too much. This was Sarah's thing. It was something she said to me, and I was like, oh God, the light switch went on in my head.
Mhm.
Anyway, we're channeling Goldilocks to take things from too much to just right. Okay, so tune in for that one. We both have a lot to say about that.
We do.
Be sure to visit lovoniandsarah.com for show notes from the episodes and links to where you can listen as well as watch us on YouTube. And we'd love for it if you could please subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up
Yes,
and a
please.
like. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye for now.